Have you ever been in a situation where you've called out to the angels and you've got help? Hi, my name's Elizabeth Eleanor. I'm intuitive empath that's been on a journey for about 27 years of spiritual awakening. And I've had everything from 3 shooting stars when I first spiritually woke up and asked if I'm on the right side, to meeting the love of my life. My maiden name was Payne and his last name is Makepeace. So I know what it's like to really tap in and ask the questions and communicate with the unseen world. And I remember this particular time when I really needed the angels' help. It was a dire situation, and I was scared. I was a remedial massage therapist for 25 years, and one of the things that I'd gone to this place was called the Walsh River. I lived up in far north Queensland, and there's this like hippie community in this area, and it's a crazy sort of rabbit warren. It's a really weird place where there's properties here, there, and everywhere, and dirt roads in between that it's almost like a roller coaster, right? You're weaving around, and you'll be driving along and all of a sudden there's another dirt path going off or whatever. And so I'd gone to this guy's house. Him and his wife had a massage, and I was doing a particular type of massage at the time, which was like 3 hours long. So I'd been there all day and it was late, and it was just coming up to dusk when I was leaving. And I remember him saying, "You remember how to get out, don't you? You just go back the way you came, but you go, instead of going right, 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 you go left, 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 right?" Well, it wasn't quite as easy as that. There was a left turn that I didn't see on the way in, and I went down the wrong road. So I was traveling for a while before I realized, because there was no real spots, landmarks that looked any different. Except all of a sudden, I'm going along this road and I'm thinking, this road just doesn't feel right. It's grass in the middle of it. It looks like no one's driven along it for a long time. And I'm like, okay, so go a little bit further and I'll just see if something comes up. And I realize that go a bit further and I see a driveway, and I think, well, I'll go down this driveway and then reverse back up. And I realize then that I'm in the wrong spot and I'm lost. So I turn around, and next thing I know, I'm going down this rocky driveway or path or road, and there was no way of turning back. It was a very small width, and it was just big enough for my car. And here I was, and I was going. It was river rocks, because what happened was I ended up on a dry bed river, and my car went straight down, and there was these huge boulders in the middle of the riverbed, and one was so big that I ended up on. It was so big that I was able to do a 3-point turn in my car and turn back around to see that the gap was huge between that boulder and the next rock. And I'm like, how did I even get on here? So here I am in the middle, like down into a river, in the middle of the forest, no reception. The light was starting to dim, and no one knew that I was there. So you can imagine what happens to the body. What happens to the body when that happens? What happens to the body is it goes into freaking anxiety, right? All the feelings start happening in my body. I can see that I've got no reception. No one knows I'm there. I don't know the area. So what happens after dark in this area? All the feels, like my body just went into total meltdown. And I'm looking at this big gap and I'm like, okay, somehow I got over here, so I'm going to have to get back. And I just called out for the angels. I said, "Angels, if you're here and you're with me, then I need your help right now." Now, couple of things. I was really in that space of there was no other alternative. So I said that and I spoke to them with conviction. I need your help now. That's it. So I just remember putting my foot on the accelerator and going for it. And I physically felt the moment where something pushed my car and my car goes up onto the thing and onto the other side of the bank. And I just start driving and I get to the very top of it, hands shaking, freaking out. Thank God, like just in relief, but also in the trauma of the whole experience. And I look at my phone and there's one bar on my phone. So I ring up the people that I had been, doing the massage with, and they came to get me. But while I was on the phone, the guy that I was massaging was, for anyone knows the Grateful Dead, he was Bear, the dancing bear. So he was their sound engineer way back when they were famous in, I mean, they're still famous, right? But way back when in the 60s and 70s, he was their sound engineer. And he did a couple of things, actually. He was the first sound engineer to to mix live and also to turn the speakers around so that they could hear themselves on stage. So he really started live performance as it is now back then, because before it was quite dormant. His name was Bear. He was quite an interesting character. Anyway, when he came, he's like, I can't believe you have um, any signal because you don't get signal here. This is a dead zone. I know that it was the angels. The angels helped me all the way through and was supporting me. I just know that I'm always looked after. And so he was able to take me and show me the way. And he said, when you left, we both had the realization that you most probably missed that spot on the way in, and that you most probably were going to see it on the way out. And so they had the feeling that that was going to happen. But I just called out to the angels and I asked with conviction and I listened to what I needed to do and I just followed through. So, just threw my foot on the accelerator and off I went and just trusted, right? I think I even maybe closed my eyes, and off I went into trusting and just having faith that I was looked after. So I know it's really one of the only times that I've connected with the angels, actually, because I usually go directly to source. I don't go, in my opinion, angels are part of, the hierarchy of the angels. They're not the head honcho, right? The head honcho is your higher self, your superconscious. And I normally go directly to that. So whether it was my superconscious that helped me or not, I have no idea. But that's who I called out to. I called out to the angels. I've actually had twice before, once before that, um, and once since, where those experiences have happened. And I've also been given the opportunity to connect in. And one of those things was just a couple of years ago when I went swimming at the beach by myself, and stupid me didn't go into the flags because everyone was in there and there was too many. So I went into this other section not knowing there was a rip there, had no idea. Was just had my feet down on the ground, had my back to the water, to the sand, and I just put my feet up for a minute, and I didn't think much of it until I realized that I was going into the ocean. And so I started swimming and couldn't get myself back, and got to the point where I was exhausted and I was starting to take water in. And I don't know if you've ever had this moment, but I've got to tell you, it's another scary moment. This moment where you realize, holy shit, I think I need to put my hand up. and say that I'm drowning. There's this moment, right, where you realize that there's no other choice. And, the whole embarrassment of it is out the window, right? And in that moment, I had this realization that I was trying to get back in. I was trying to swim, and I'm not a strong swimmer. The little self was trying to get back into the ocean, into the beach. And I had this moment like, oh, I haven't called out. I haven't asked my higher self, God, angels, whoever's around that wants to help me. And so I had a moment where I stopped for a second and I just reached out. I need help and I need help now. Well, lo and behold, without knowing that I was doing the right thing, I get in my head to start swimming horizontal to the beach. And so I did. I went from here to here and started swimming horizontal to the beach. And apparently that's exactly the right thing to do, because now you're getting outside of the rip. And it took me 5 minutes to get I reckon about 5 minutes. It took a long time to get in. And by the time I got onto the beach, I was so weak that I had to lay on my towel for, I don't know, maybe about 20 minutes, half an hour before I had the energy to actually leave the beach. I woke up that night and I coughed up salt water, and my auntie told me that apparently people drown afterwards because of water in their lungs. So it was a pretty hairy situation. However, I'm still here, and the reason is because I called out. I called out for the other part of myself, for that connection, for that part of us that is beyond this body. And so if you're struggling with anything at the moment, or you find yourself in a situation where you're, scared, you're in an emergency, you've got some sort of trauma that's happening, some sort of danger, then remember that you're not alone, that you have access to more than your body and your mind, and reach out and ask for help. And then wait and listen, and whatever comes in, whatever the information is that comes through, you take action on that information. I'm doing 365 days. I think this is day 46 on YouTube. And if you're interested and want to follow, then please hit subscribe and the bell for notifications when we put some more stuff on here. And if you liked the information that you just got. And all my stuff's downstairs. Have a look down in the little box and you'll see my website and all the things. Reach out if you need some support, if you want to know how to connect clearly and concisely and all the things, then I know I can help you. Take care.